It was a quiet spring morning in Clarksville, Tennessee, the kind of day where the mist lingered just long enough to give the neighborhood an eerie calm. On that morning, April 15th, 2025, the Decker home stood unusually still. The curtains were drawn tight. The family's Labrador, Max, barked restlessly in the backyard, scratching at the gate. Inside, the house was too quiet, too still, and 3 little girls' beds were still neatly made. That morning, Melanie Carter, the school secretary at Liberty Ridge Elementary, noticed something strange. Addie Decker, age 9, hadn't shown up to class. Neither had Lily, 6, or baby Alara, just 3. No call from their mother. No message from the father. No response to emails. Melanie, who knew the girls personally, especially Addie, who always wore mismatched socks and left sticky notes for her teachers, felt uneasy. She called their mother, Amanda Decker, several times. No answer. By 2:30 p.m., she made a call that would change everything. "I need a welfare check," Melanie told dispatch. "It's not like Amanda. The kids are never absent like this." Officer Isaiah Palmer responded to the call. A seasoned officer, Isaiah had seen his share of difficult scenes, but he'd also known Travis Decker. The man was an Army veteran, deployed twice in Afghanistan, once decorated for bravery. On the surface, Travis was the image of a patriot, but behind closed doors, no one really knew. Isaiah knocked. No answer. He circled to the back and found the sliding door unlocked. The first thing that hit him was the silence. The next was the smell cleaning agents. Strong. Bleach and citrus. The TV was on but muted, frozen on a paused cartoon. Then he stepped into the girls' room. 3 small beds, all untouched. No backpacks, no shoes, no signs of struggle, but something was deeply wrong. The girls were gone, and so was Travis. Amanda Decker was found hours later in a motel 30 miles away, disoriented, crying, scratches on her arms. She claimed she had no memory of the past 24 hours. "I put Alara to bed," she sobbed to investigators. "And the next thing I remember, I woke up here." The missing persons alert went out that evening. Amber Alerts lit up phones across Tennessee. National news picked up the headline, "Army veteran father wanted in disappearance of 3 daughters." But no one could have guessed how deep this nightmare went, or how long it had been building. Before Travis Decker became the most wanted man in Tennessee, he was a hero. Born in rural Kentucky, Travis had the kind of upbringing that taught him how to survive. His father, a former Marine, was strict, sometimes cruel. His mother died when he was 10. By 17, Travis had already enlisted in the Army. It was his escape, and he thrived in it. By his early 20s, he had done 2 tours in Afghanistan. Bronze Star, commendations. He returned to Tennessee with a chest full of medals and demons he never spoke about. That's where he met Amanda Fuller, a nurse at the VA hospital in Clarksville. She was kind, patient, and drawn to broken things. Travis was one of them. They married within a year. 3 daughters followed. At first, they were the perfect family, or so it seemed. Travis went to church. He coached youth baseball. He helped neighbors fix fences. But behind closed doors, Amanda saw the truth. The flashbacks, the drinking, the silence that stretched for days. He wasn't abusive, at least not at first. But he was angry. Amanda's journal, later recovered by police, told a different story. "Travis hasn't slept in 3 nights. He says he hears things in the walls. I'm scared to leave the kids with him, but I have no choice. He's their father." Addie flinched when he raised his voice. That never used to happen. He locked himself in the garage again. "The girls keep asking what's wrong. I don't know what to tell them." By 2023, things had worsened. Travis lost his job. Amanda began picking up double shifts. Neighbors said the girls stopped playing outside. One teacher wrote a report after Lily showed up to school with a black eye. "It was an accident," Amanda claimed. "She fell down the stairs." But no investigation followed. The report sat in a file, forgotten. In the weeks before the disappearance, something changed. Travis became withdrawn, more erratic, more paranoid. He told Amanda he believed the government was spying on them. He bought cameras, locks, even noise-canceling machines to block mind readers. Amanda begged him to get help. He refused. Then, just days before the girls vanished, Travis took all 3 daughters out of school without explanation. Amanda didn't know until the school called. When she confronted him, he told her, "The world's ending. They don't need school. They need protection." At the time, no one knew how far he would go. But Amanda had begun to fear something she never imagined, that the man she loved was no longer the father her daughters needed, and might become the reason they never came home again. It was a Wednesday, March 19th, 2025. Cold, gray skies hovered over Clarksville, Tennessee. Amanda hadn't heard from Travis since the weekend. He said he needed space. She assumed the girls were safe with him. She was wrong. At 9:07 a.m., Clarksville Elementary called Amanda at work. Lily, Addie, and Rose hadn't been in school for 2 days. Amanda froze. Her hands trembled as she dialed Travis. No answer. She texted, "Where are the girls?" No reply. "Travis, this isn't funny. Call me." Nothing. By noon, Amanda had left work and driven straight to the house. What she found would become the start of a nightmare. The house was unlocked. Quiet. No laughter. No cartoons. No little footsteps running down the hall. Amanda stepped inside slowly, calling out, "Travis? Girls?" No answer. She searched every room. The kitchen still had cereal bowls on the table. The girls' shoes sat neatly by the door, but their backpacks were gone. Then she went to the garage. That's where she found the first clue. A duffel bag, half-zipped. Inside, children's clothes, water bottles, cans of food, a hunting knife, and taped to the inside wall of the garage door was a note. "Don't follow me. We're safe now. Stay out." Signed T. Amanda backed out of the garage, breathing hard. She called 911. Police arrived in less than 10 minutes. At first, they treated it like a custody dispute. But when Amanda showed them the note, everything changed. Travis Decker hadn't just taken his daughters. He was prepared to hide them. By 4 p.m., an Amber Alert was issued statewide. 3 girls missing, possibly armed suspect, driving a silver Dodge Ram, military background, last seen near the Cumberland Forest region. Within hours, the story made local news. Neighbors began giving interviews. "He was always polite, but distant," one said. "I heard yelling some nights, but they were a private family. They had 3 beautiful little girls. This is shocking." But nothing shocked them more than what police discovered next. 2 days later, park rangers found Travis' truck, abandoned near a wooded trail just outside Johnsonville. The back seat was soaked with what would later be confirmed as blood. Children's shoes lay scattered on the ground. But there were no bodies, no Travis, no girls. By March 22, 2025, the disappearance of Travis Decker and his daughters had morphed from a local tragedy to a national headline. Armed veteran vanishes with 3 daughters. Amber Alert expanded across state lines. Murder or kidnap? What happened to the Decker girls? The media frenzy was instant. News trucks lined the streets outside Amanda's house. Her face appeared on morning broadcasts, pleading through tears. "Please, Travis, if you're watching this, bring our girls home. They need you. I need you. Just come back." But deep down, Amanda feared what no mother ever wants to admit, that her daughters weren't coming back. Detectives went to work around the clock. They interviewed neighbors, teachers, Travis Army friends. They built a psychological profile, highly intelligent, trained in survival tactics, emotionally unstable, possibly armed. His military record revealed something chilling: a dishonorable discharge, domestic battery, PTSD, paranoia. The Travis Amanda had once fallen in love with was now being treated as a potential killer. Evidence mounted. A local Walmart camera caught Travis on the morning of March 17th. He was buying rope, tarps, and canned beans. The girls were not with him. Next, A gas station clerk remembered Travis asking for maps, paper ones. No cell phone pings, no credit card use. He was going off-grid. The FBI got involved. Drones were deployed, search dogs brought in, forests combed, lakes dragged. Nothing. It was like Travis had vanished into the trees. Then, on March 28th, a hiker inland between the lakes park found something horrifying. A pink fleece jacket tangled in the brush. And nearby, a child's drawing. Stick figures labeled Daddy, Lily, Addie, and Rose. But Rose had a red X over her head. The picture was turned in to authorities. That night, police upgraded the case from missing persons to possible triple homicide. Amanda collapsed when she heard the news. No, he wouldn't hurt them. He wouldn't. But even she didn't sound convinced anymore. The child's drawing sent a shiver through every investigator working the case. At first glance, it was innocent, crude stick figures, a sun, a tree. But the red X scratched over Rose. It was deliberate, violent. A forensic psychologist, Dr. Evelyn Marcotte, was brought in to examine the drawing. This wasn't drawn in fear, she said quietly. This was drawn after something happened. And just like that, the case took a darker turn. Police revisited Amanda. Did Travis ever hurt the girls? They asked again. She hesitated. He yelled, once, but he loved them. He loved them. But her voice wavered. And then she added something she hadn't before. He made them dig holes. In the backyard. He said it was for a garden. But he never planted anything. Detectives quietly marked the backyard for excavation. Meanwhile, the media vultures circled. True crime podcasts were already theorizing. Was Travis a grieving father or a calculated monster? Someone leaked his Army Psych eval. Paranoid tendencies, violence under stress, impulse control issues, public sentiment turned. Then, on March 30th, an abandoned barn outside Dover, Tennessee, became the focus. A hunter reported strange noises days earlier, whispers, a child's cough. When police searched it, they found footprints, empty food cans, a broken Barbie doll, and a military-grade flashlight engraved with Decker. He'd been there, recently, but no sign of the girls. Amanda watched the news every night with her mother by her side. She barely ate, barely slept. He was a good man, she whispered to no one. Once, the line between memory and denial blurred. The Travis she married was now a ghost with blood on his hands. April 1st, detectives received an anonymous tip. A voice on the other end said only this, "Check the lake." Then they hung up. That night, divers found something just beneath the surface of a cove, a small child's pink sneaker, floating, lifeless. Amanda collapsed when they brought her in to identify it. It was Rose's. The pink sneaker wasn't the only thing in the lake. Divers continued combing the shallow cove well into the next morning. At 6:42 a.m., a second clue surfaced. A child-sized sleeping bag waterlogged and torn. Inside it, nothing, but the weight of what could have been in it crushed everyone on scene. Detective Rachel Thorne took over as lead. Her record was clean, her instincts sharper than most. "This man's not running out of panic," she said. "He's running with a plan." She believed Travis had prepared this for weeks, maybe months. Maps, food caches, burner phones. Escape wasn't an act of desperation, it was a mission. They searched Travis' old military locker at the VA. Inside, folded neatly, his commendation medals, an old letter from Amanda, and a photograph, a family photo torn at the edges. The girls' faces had been carefully scratched out. It wasn't grief, it was rage. Meanwhile, the media pressure exploded. Major news outlets now ran the case 24/7. CNN, BBC, Fox, local affiliates. Headlines screamed, "Monster in uniform? Father turns fugitive in triple child murder. Where are the Decker girls?" Public support for Amanda nosedived. Hashtag Justice for Rose began trending. She couldn't go to the store, couldn't show her face, but still, she swore he didn't kill them. He wouldn't. He's not a killer, she repeated like a mantra. He's not. But then came the video. April 4th, 2:13 p.m. A motion-triggered wildlife camera in LBL, land between the lakes, recorded it. A man in tactical gear, dirty, gaunt, holding a small child alive but limp. He walked into frame, looked straight into the camera, and smiled, then vanished into the trees. The FBI verified it. It was Travis, and in his arms, it looked like Emmy. The public lost their minds. Hope was alive, but the danger was greater than ever. By April 6th, the FBI's tone changed. This was no longer just a manhunt, it was a rescue mission. We believe at least one child may still be alive, Special Agent Kyle Jensen told reporters. And we believe Travis Decker intends to keep it that way on his terms. But what were those terms? Why only one child in the video? Where were Rose and Sophie? Inside the house of evidence, investigators re-entered the Decker home. This time, they weren't just looking for blood or fingerprints, they were hunting his mind. In the basement, behind a false wall, they found a soundproof room, maps of nearby cave systems, military MREs, meals ready to eat, and most chilling, a camera pointed at a child-sized bed. It wasn't wired to the internet, no live streaming, but dozens of memory cards lay nearby. On them, footage of the girls, sleeping, crying, whispering, but never being hurt, just watched, for hours, days, weeks. It's like he was documenting them, Thorne whispered, like animals in a lab. Amanda cracks. The footage broke Amanda. When they showed her stills from the memory cards, she collapsed in the interview room. He said he was protecting them, she sobbed. He told me the world would eat them alive, that we had to save them from it. Detective Thorne leaned in. What do you mean we, Amanda? Silence. Then, I didn't lock them down there, but I knew he did. The grand jury. On April 15th, Amanda Decker was indicted on child endangerment, obstruction of justice, accessory after the fact. The public didn't know what to believe anymore. Was she a victim or a collaborator? Meanwhile, the search grew desperate. Dozens of leads flooded in, none credible. And then one tip changed everything. The hermit at Copper Creek. An elderly hiker near Copper Creek reported a strange encounter. He said he was living off the grid, had a little girl with him. She didn't speak. The man described Travis in detail, said he was wearing camouflage, said the girl looked thin, pale, scared. He offered me a fish, told me to keep walking. The FBI raced to the scene. For 48 hours, helicopters hovered over the dense woods of Copper Creek. Infrared picked up a heat signature near a rocky outcrop. But when agents arrived, empty, only a tarp, a half-eaten rabbit, and a drawing, childlike, 3 stick figures. One was crossed out in red crayon. April 18th, 2024, Copper Creek, Tennessee. Fog curled between the trees like silent ghosts. Rain soaked the forest floor. The scent of pine and decay clung to everything. Agent Kyle Jensen moved ahead of the team, his rifle lowered but ready. They weren't just tracking a fugitive anymore. They were walking straight into the mind of Travis Decker. Breadcrumbs in the wild. Everywhere they searched, Travis had left signs, but nothing accidental. A child's sock near a moss-covered boulder. A Go Army patch nailed to a tree. A half-burned children's book. The Giving Tree. Almost like he wanted to be followed. But only so far. He's not hiding, Agent Jensen muttered. He's hunting us back. The Hidden Hollow. At 6:44 a.m., a K-9 unit signaled near an old coal shaft deep in the woods. The dogs refused to enter, whined, and pulled away. But the thermal drone saw something inside. Movement. Faint. Human. Tactical teams moved in, lighting the shaft with floodlights. They found a trapdoor beneath a false floor of leaves and boards. What lay below would change the case forever. The girl in the dark. She was sitting cross-legged in a corner, thin, dirt-covered, eyes wide open but blank. It was Lily, the youngest Decker girl. She didn't speak. She didn't cry. She just looked past everyone, whispering to herself. They wrapped her in a thermal blanket and rushed her to a medevac. On her wrist was a cloth bracelet, stitched with the word Angel 03. The one that got away. But Travis was gone. All that remained were 3 empty MRE packs, a Bible with missing pages, a blood-stained army knife, and one line carved into the stone wall. I did what the world was too weak to do. Lily speaks. At the hospital, after hours of silence, Lily finally whispered. He said the angels were taking Rose and Sophie, said I was the last light left. Doctors and psychologists wept in the hallway. So did the agents, because Lily wasn't just malnourished. She had fractures in 3 ribs, chemical burns on her hands, and signs of being locked in total darkness for weeks. The arrest warrant expands. On April 19th, the FBI updated Travis Decker's status. Wanted for the murder of Rose and Sophie Decker, and the torture and kidnapping of Lily Decker. His face flooded every TV screen across America. Billboards, social media, even Times Square. Have you seen this man? Do not approach. Armed and dangerous. But still no sightings. The room was silent except for the sound of Lily's breathing. She clutched a stuffed animal too tightly, her small hands trembling. Across from her sat Detective Caroline Fry, now assigned as the family liaison and lead on child testimony preparation. No cameras, no press, just the aching weight of truth waiting to be spoken. Lily blinked at the floor and then whispered something barely audible. Detective Fry leaned in. Sweetheart, what did you say? Lily's voice cracked. Daddy said we were going on a mission, that if we were brave, we'd be safe. But then, he left me. The therapist's pen stopped mid-sentence. The forensic psychologist exchanged a glance with Fry. What kind of mission? She asked softly. Lily hesitated again. Then she reached into her pink hoodie pocket and pulled out a small crumpled piece of paper. It was a child's drawing. Stick figures, a forest, and something that looked like a box underground with 3 figures inside and one standing outside holding what resembled a gun. She pointed. That's me. That's my sisters. That's Daddy. Frey's heart cracked wide open, but her voice remained calm. And the others? They stopped talking. Daddy said they were sleeping. Back at the forensics lab, Lily's blood work revealed starvation markers, evidence of long-term neglect and sedation, likely Benadryl in toxic quantities. Her sisters' remains told even worse stories. Broken ribs, fractured wrists, old bruises, healed the wrong way. DNA under the girl's fingernails matched Travis Decker. Even without his confession, the evidence screamed louder than he ever could. Isaiah sat in the hallway of the hospital, face buried in his hands. Lily slept inside, safe, but not whole, and neither was he. He had once believed Travis was the war hero, the protector, the steady one. Now, all he could do was stare at his reflection in the hospital vending machine window and wonder, how many signs did I miss? The media reaction. As the testimonies leaked, the headlines exploded. Lily speaks. Survivor of bunker horror describes life in underground cage. Military trained. Child killer. Amanda Decker's silence speaks volumes. The public reeled. Talk shows dissected Lily's drawings. Online forums exploded with rage. And a new petition demanded military psychological evaluations before parental custody rights could be granted post-deployment. But through it all, Travis remained missing. The final blow, the burned Bible. At a campsite 2 miles beyond the original search radius, park rangers stumbled upon a makeshift shelter, long abandoned. Inside was a burned journal, water-damaged pages, half-legible script. One page was preserved. I did what I had to do. The war never left me. They were broken. I couldn't fix them. Signed with just TD. It was the closest thing to a confession they'd ever get. Isaiah took the page in his hands. Tears fell before he could even stop them. "I hate you for what you did," he whispered. "But God help me. I still loved who you used to be." The courtroom was packed to capacity. Journalists occupied every available seat, laptops ready. Behind them sat survivors of military families, child protection advocates, and dozens of Missouri locals who had followed the case since it broke. But it was the front row, where Isaiah sat, flanked by Lily's new foster advocate and Detective Fry, that carried the real weight of the room. The judge entered. "All rise." The trial of Amanda Decker, mother, accused accomplice, and enabler, had officially begun. The prosecutor's opening statement. Prosecutor Emily Chun wasted no time. "This is not a case about a grieving mother. This is about a woman who chose silence over safety, cruelty over care, and complicity over courage. While her husband prepared a bunker for their daughters, Amanda Decker turned the other way. She projected a photo, the cage under the bunk bed. Gasps rippled through the gallery. She sprayed vinegar in her daughters' faces. She force-fed them cold canned food as punishment. When one cried at night, she wrapped a belt around the bars to muffle the sound. Amanda's defense. Amanda sat expressionless, her eyes devoid of the raw pain Isaiah had once remembered in his sister-in-law. Her defense attorney, Mark Redford, argued that Amanda was a victim too. She was manipulated by a trained military man with untreated PTSD. She feared for her life. She feared for her children. She had no way out. But the evidence told a different story. Surveillance footage from the grocery store showed Amanda buying vinegar and belts alone. Her journal, found in a bedroom drawer, revealed chilling thoughts. "They cry too much. Travis says it's weakness. Maybe he's right." Lily's testimony. The courtroom fell into breathless silence as Lily entered, escorted by her therapist and holding a comfort-stuffed bunny. Her voice was fragile. "Mommy said Daddy knew best. She told me if I was bad again, she'd lock me in with the spiders." The prosecutor gently asked, "Did she ever help you get out?" "No." She looked away. Every time. Amanda's gaze flickered. One moment of what looked like regret. Or was it just exposure? Final evidence. Then came the blow that broke the jury. A video, recovered from Travis's deleted cloud storage. It showed Amanda instructing the girls how to sit still in the cages. She wiped one of their faces with a soaked cloth, muttering, "Next time you don't eat your food, it'll be worse." The room froze. Isaiah stood and left. He couldn't take it anymore. The verdict. Days later, the jury returned. Guilty, on all counts. Child endangerment, felony abuse, and complicity to kidnapping. Amanda didn't cry. She didn't speak. The judge's gavel hit the desk with a thud that echoed in Isaiah's chest. The aftermath. Amanda received 2 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole. The media's headline read, "Justice for the Caged Daughters, Amanda Decker convicted in shocking Missouri trial." But for Isaiah, no verdict would bring back what was lost. Only Lily remained, and she was the one he vowed to protect now. It was a quiet Tuesday morning when Isaiah found it. Tucked into the side of Lily's art folder, just behind a crayon drawing of 3 stick figures holding hands. One tall, one small, and one with a ponytail, was a folded piece of notebook paper. It wasn't signed, but he knew who had written it. He sat down slowly, heart thudding, and unfolded the letter. The letter. "Dear Mr. Isaiah, I'm sorry I didn't talk more before. I was scared. I think Daddy is gone forever. Mommy too. Sometimes I still hear the cage door in my dreams. But in real life, I sleep with no door now. I can see the moon. You are the first person who made me feel like I wasn't bad. Thank you for the yellow socks. I wear them even when they don't match. I want to be a teacher when I grow up, but not the kind that yells. I hope I get to stay with you, or at least visit. P.S. The bunny's name is Brave now. Love, Lily." Isaiah pressed the letter to his chest and cried. He hadn't cried in months. Not since the night he heard the emergency scanner crackle and raced toward the Decker home. This time, though, the tears weren't from grief. They were from hope. A new beginning. Lily started school in the fall under a new name. She had a desk by the window and a pencil case filled with gel pens. She told her new teacher she liked sunflowers and hated ketchup. Each day, she grew a little louder. Each night, Isaiah sat outside her door. Not because she needed him to, but because it reminded her that someone would always be there. The final report. The media moved on. Other stories took over, another scandal, another headline. But one piece stuck in the national consciousness. A New York Times editorial titled, "The Girl in the Cage: How the System Failed the Silent." It called for reforms in foster home inspections, stronger school follow-up on absences, and mandatory training in trauma response. And at the bottom, it simply read, "For Lily and all the voices that go unheard." Isaiah's interview. Months later, Isaiah appeared on a podcast reluctantly. The host asked, "What would you say to people watching this who think it's not their business to get involved?" Isaiah didn't hesitate. Check in. Ask the questions. Knock on the door. You might just be the only one who ever does. Lily sat at a park bench watching ducks in a pond. She laughed just once. A bright, short burst of joy that startled even her. Isaiah watched from a distance, hands in his coat pocket, a tired but peaceful look on his face. The world had broken something inside her, but someone had helped piece it back together. Even if scarred, even if never perfect, she was free. Lily's voice had been silenced for too long, but in that silence, something stronger was growing. The power of being seen, of being believed. Travis and Amanda Decker took away their children's innocence, but they couldn't take away Lily's spirit. And maybe that's the real story, that no matter how dark the past, a single open door, a kind voice, a pair of yellow socks can begin to change everything. Like this video, share Lily's story, and subscribe to the channel because every voice deserves to be heard.